Brad Fittler, Freddie, welcome to you. Hey, you've been quoted this week talking about origin eligibility because Victor Radley obviously choosing England as his country of choice. Do things need to change around origin eligibility, national eligibility? Does that need a revisit from the NRL or the ARL?
Well, I think so. I think they're two different things. And the game's changed so much, especially who's playing the game at the moment. We've got a really high rate of Polynesian players, and a lot of them want to respect their parents and go and play, excuse me, for their country of where their parents came from. So there is a rule where you play origin if you've been to New South Wales and Queensland before you're 13, basically your high school. And I think that, to me, that you consider then someone who's grown up in that state and the state's looked after you, and obviously you'd have some sort of affiliation with the state. But at the moment, international footy is a little bit different, and I think it's got to be treated different.
Well, with that in mind, Freddie, can we get an example? If someone...
Right. So here's a couple of examples. Remus Smith.
Yep.
So Remus Smith played for Melbourne at the moment. He was born in Sydney, grew up in Sydney, played New South Wales for under-16s, under-18s. I coached him a few times. Couldn't really see a pathway maybe through Origin and play for Australia. His dad's from New Zealand, Tyron Smith, and so he went and played for New Zealand. Because he made that decision, he can never come back and play for New South Wales at the moment. Victor Radley's another good example at the moment where just got a decision where he feels like maybe the pathway's not as clear as it might have been. Sees an option to go and play for England. Jerome Luai, someone who grew up in Mount Druitt, born there, went to school there, played for New South Wales. He wants to go and play for Samoa because of his parents. So
if he plays for Samoa, say Luai, he then can't play for New South Wales. Is that what the current rules are?
No, Samoa's a second-tier nation. So
okay, right. Yeah,
so in the top tier, you have Australia, New Zealand, and England.
Yep.
And once you choose to play for them countries, you can't come back and play State of Origin. That's a new rule.
Unless you're playing for Australia, obviously.
Unless you're playing for Australia. But you can opt to play for Australia in the system at the moment. And if you don't make Australia, you then go and play for Tonga or Samoa, one of the second-tier nations.
Okay.
Clear as mud.
How bad are things at the Storm at the moment?
Well, they're not good. I think their forward pack's getting a little bit older. I think their forward packs have been the part of their team which have been a bit unsung over the times, and at the moment I just see there's a lot of new faces, a lot of fresh faces, making a lot of fundamental errors, a lot of stuff that you don't really affiliate with the Melbourne Storm, and they're falling short at the moment, and this is I think their fourth loss or third loss in a row now, which is I think only happened once before to Craig Bellamy, so they're in uncharted territory.
Looking at the Rabbitohs, inclusion of Latrell Mitchell, do you reckon that means they're a premiership contender?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just the way they're playing at the moment. They're a team who play very simply, then have brilliance. They come out of trouble very simply. They don't put much pressure on themselves coming out of trouble. Then all of a sudden, once you get down the other end, you've got Cody, Latrell, Alex Johnson, all these young kids now who are just, finding this extra bit of confidence. So they're a real challenge because of the way they play. They leave all their risk-taking right down the other end. So if it doesn't come off, they're still defending at the other end of the field. So not a bad way to play.
Tubby's bursting to ask you about. We got in this morning, the 30. We can't wait to get free. Have a drag. Go for it, Tub.
You mentioned the word brilliance. I went out to Jubilee Oval on Friday night and the Dragons were brilliant, mate. Does that send shockwaves through the top 8?
Well, it takes some pressure off the coach. So, Jesus, if you lose a game now, you're gone as coach. So, Anthony Griffin, but on the back of this young boy, Ben, not young, but Ben Hunt, his last 3 months of football have been outstanding. He's scoring tries on his own, supporting. He's doing everything at the moment. So they're in a group of 4 teams that are sitting at equal 8th. The run into the finals is awesome. You've got 3 teams sitting at equal 2nd, 3 teams sitting at equal 5th, and then you've got 4 teams at equal 8th. So if
I put my Peter Fitzsimons hat on for a moment, we haven't seen...
Don't do that.
Do they make the 8? Yes or no?
Where's a red bandana? Canberra have the best draw. Right. So Canberra also in that group. Their draw is by far better than all the other teams. So
Canberra and St George make the 8 then?
The Roosters, you didn't see the Roosters
Roosters and Manly are both out, is that what you're saying?
It sounded like a no Dragons.
No, it didn't. I'm trying hard to get a yes.
I'm saying Dragons are out. So I'm saying Roosters are in.
Sean,